Well, hey there. Thank you. Thank you for coming back. I'm Rob the Builder because I'm a licensed builder with the state of Michigan and I like to paint. So I figured, well, if I have nothing to do in the off season, I can always paint. So I started painting probably a couple of years ago. And, those who saw the first episode, that was the one where we had the quiet, I think, what was it? Quiet deep in the forest or something like that. Well, let me show you really the finished product because I showed what it was when I signed it, but I did a little bit afterwards. So here it is. I'll actually see if hopefully you can see that. It's still a little damp, but I'll put it up here so you can maybe get a better view of it. So that's what it looks like. So what I added, it was the reflections, and then it was the trees on both sides. So that is the actual completed painting. And I wanted to share that with you because when I started it on the first episode, I didn't really add anything to it. Now you can tinker with the painting and mess with it, but the more you mess with it, the worse it gets. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's the finished product. And any of these paintings, if you wanted a print of it or if you had suggestions or what have you, you can always drop a line. I don't know if my comment section is working. You can leave a comment. But again, I appreciate all those that tuned in to watch me paint this. And again, this is the finished product. I'm trying to figure out how you can see that. So without having the glare, maybe I can do it this way. So just kind of give you an idea. All right, so that is the finished product. So what I thought we'd do today is recreate a painting that I've done previous. So the goal is to just kind of show you what I do, how I do, what I do. So I got started again with painting 2 years ago. It was right about when COVID kind of was over the big first wave in 2020. And I said, man, I was watching Bob Ross and I said, man, I think I can do what he does, but he says it's easy. And I said, well, I don't know, maybe it is easy, but I'm not sure. So I gave it a try. I did a few rough paintings where I really didn't want to show anybody. But then I started thinking, wow, maybe I can do this. So I've done several paintings, and tonight I'm going to do a painting that I've done before. And a few of you may have seen it, but I'm going to try to duplicate that, maybe improve on it. So the painting I'm going to try to do is this one right here. So this is a painting that it's showing reflections. It's got some trees. It's got some mountains in the sky. So I'll go through the process, and maybe if you can see it, maybe better. That's the goal. So that's what we're going to try to do tonight. And I will try to explain what I'm doing when I'm doing it. I don't use the palette that Bob Ross uses. I use cardboard. So the paints I have is Van Dyke Brown, Cadmium Orange, I think we got red here, Phthalo Blue, Burnt Sienna, I think there, black, lemon yellow, sage green, and white. So I use those because, I'm not going to scrub one of those little palette boards because who's got time for it? So I have my bucket that I use to clean the brushes with. I have paper towel that we got to use quite a bit. So I got some paper towel. So whenever I need to get a brush cleaned to get the paint off, that's kind of what I'm going to do. Let me do some adjustments real quick. All right. Oops. It's hard to So yeah, so this is what I do. So in order to prepare a canvas, you have to use a medium. Now you can use liquid clear, which will help you to spread the paint, or you can use Magic White. And I'm going to use Magic White. Magic White is clearly it's obviously white paint, but it's thinner. So it's liquid first coat white. And you have to mix it because it gets really, it kind of congeals, like you'll see the oil on top. So I just mix it. And then I wear gloves because I'm messy. And so there was a little bit of pink in there, but it's okay. So when you're putting on Magic White, you kind of, you can kind of put it in different spots because you're gonna, you don't want to be too, because you're gonna wipe it, most of it off anyway, because you really don't want Magic White that thick. So sometimes the brushing will put you to sleep. I know it puts me to sleep. I don't want to do it while I'm standing up, but you get to painting too long or too late and your spouse starts worrying about what you're doing. Did you fall asleep down there? Did you smell too many of the paint fumes? Joking. But yeah, this is what I do to relax, because kids are upstairs, the dog's upstairs. Oh, got a little bit of, it's okay if you get a little, you can always just go over it. So sometimes you carry over some paint. So I believe it's a lot. It's thick, so I'm going to try to thin it out so I don't need as much. So I am going to, okay, let's see, did I move it? Okay, good. I try to put music on, but I haven't really, because I get distracted easy. Like I'll paint and I'll try to figure out, well, what am I going to do? So I didn't know, because I'm going to try to do a series each week and recreate some of the paintings I've done. Now, I've seen other painters on YouTube, Kevin, Nate, Bill Alexander, Bob Ross. I actually like watching their videos. Bear with me one second. Okay, let's see. I like watching their videos, so I give them their props, because all these ideas aren't mine. I look to see, I need a frame of reference, so I'm going to go ahead and get ideas from them. Now, you're not going to take a Bob Ross painting and have it stenciled so that you can copy it. First of all, you really can't copy people's writing. It's almost like when you do recipes. You see a recipe, if you add one ingredient to it, it's now your recipe. So you can change a recipe. So now I've gotten enough Magic White. So now what I'll do is I'll take a paper towel and then I'll try to clean off the excess. Okay? So you really don't want a lot of Magic White, because then it won't blend. It'll just smear. So yeah, you want it to where it's just, yeah. You want something on there, but you don't want it to be so. And I flip it over, because now keep in mind, this is my easel. It's just 2x4s, got some screws. It's a poor man's easel, but I like it. It means I can spend all my money on canvases. And it's very therapeutic. It's even if you don't think you can paint, because I didn't. You know how my idea of painting? It sounds funny, but I took a mouse and a computer when I was at work. And I started using that, the paint app, or the whatever thing that all the computers come with called Paintbrush. I use that, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. Someone said, hey, is that Bob Ross? I'm like, no, it's with a computer mouse. So anyway, so I got the Magic White on there. So now what I do is I figure, okay, well, what am I going to do? let's see. I can do a sky. And when you do your sky, you figure out, okay, well, how are you going to do it? Now, these are my Bob Ross brushes, and these are the real expensive kind. I've done about 100 paintings. They really hold up. But what I found out is they're natural bristles brushes that you can get from like Ace Hardware or Lowe's or what have you for cheap. I mean, the whole Bob Ross set is like almost 200 bucks. But, I mean, they're still good brushes because they're natural bristles. But I went and picked up a couple more, and so I'm going to use those. Plus, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try using this because it seems like I think I can get more defined because these are a little frayed. So sometimes you'll get paint where you don't want paint. So let's try. I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to do some blue. Let's see. So I'm just trying to put some blue on there, you know. See, when I put on blue, let me see if you can see that. Probably can't. All right, hold on. Sorry. Let me go ahead and adjust. All right, you can kind of see harsh lines a little bit, but you just kind of want to smooth them out. You can see some pink hues in there, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, some of it's going to be covered in freeze, but for the most part, that's kind of like your product, your finished product. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my brush. And I don't know how Bob Ross does it, but because he does he shakes it so, and it gets it pretty clean. It really does. So what I'm doing is I'm like, okay, well, if I take my white fan brush, and I like the fan brushes because you can make clouds. And they always say when you do clouds, you want to go. You know, when you just want to go ahead and so when you're doing clouds, you kind of want to make them. You want to make them so they blend in. You don't want to go a little too nutty with them. So, and then you go like this. Yeah. So when you do it, I mean, they're gonna blend out, but you just want to make sure that. And clouds you can put anywhere, and so. And your painting's not going to be perfect, trust me. A lot of paintings aren't. So what I do is clean this brush out. And it's fun. You'll find that painting is fun. Sometimes it can be exhausting. But for the most part, I'm just trying to find the happy medium, right? Okay, here we go. I'm just trying to make sure you guys can see. All right, so this is kind of what I do, and I know it's kind of abrupt. What I do is now I look at where my kind of horizon is going to be, and I look to see, well, now that I got my sky, now it's not as dark and bold because not every painting is going to be the same. I'm going to come close to it. So now I'm going to do my mountains. Now, the mountains are the toughest part for me, but we're going to give it a go. Because, Bob Ross does it, makes it easy. Anybody can do mountains. Okay, well, I can't. So I'm going to try a little bit of that, a little bit of black, a little bit of green, a little bit of red, a little bit of blue. All right. Sometimes mountains, and you can mountains can go like this. You can start them like high. So, you know, that's how you start them. You kind of, okay, well, let's see. And you can go like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to take a little bit of, and then I'll go like this. I'll go. Okay. Yeah, so it's not gonna be perfect. I mean, you can. You're not gonna say, "Oh, I messed up. I didn't get that mountain perfect." It's not gonna be perfect. Besides, most of the stuff is going to be covered up by trees. So I'm going to put a little bit of black, a little bit of green, a little bit of brown, touch of red, blue. Yeah, so a lot of it, sometimes when I paint, it's not that I forget that you're here. I just go, oh, okay, so I'm just going to keep, let's see. So one more, I'm going to do another peak. We're going to do this a little different than. So once you do your mountains, I mean, it looks kind of sketchy, but you're like, well, you'll see how it figures out. So we're going to. So how you make the mountains actually look like mountains, here's what you do. You're going to use your brush, this brush here, the one that was a little, and you're going to just go, ooh, it is more frayed than I thought. Let me try to do this. Still undecided. I'm undecided. Okay, well, I got to try my brush here. Okay. So that's kind of my mountain. So when you do your mountains, you can kind of say, well, you know, you can do them. You can really literally do them however you want, because we're going to put trees and then we're going to kind of block it in. So this is how I view mountains, you know, and it comes out okay. I mean, is it awesome? Maybe. But now here's where the part that I learned somewhat of a trick. Now there's a filbert brush, and they're smaller filbert brushes, but I always think, I wonder if I can use a filbert brush. These are kind of like filbert brushes or small brushes. So I'm kind of seeing if I could you know, when you do your, see, Bob Ross uses the palette knife. I'm not really skilled at that, so I'm thinking, well, can I do it this way? Like, I mean, it takes some work. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. So it's really to your imagination. I mean, yeah. Do mountains look perfect? No. You just envision how your mountains are gonna look. So you got to picture. I have the light source coming from this way, so you really want your mountain to. So there's the reason why it doesn't break as much up there is because yeah. I mean, you work on it. You work on it. We work on it. Sometimes we work really hard at it. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll get to painting and I'm like, man, I forgot what I'm doing. So, you're gonna cover a lot of these up because with this painting I did, but I actually put more mountains in this one than I did on that one. So it's kind of like, you know, so now they always want you to do a highlight color. Or, sorry, a shadow. So now here's where you might want to try. I'm going to go ahead and try my where is my, oh, there's my blade. I'm going to try this one. So then you can just go like this. So when I see Bob Ross, I'm like, man, I want to do that. And so, you got to have a highlight, you got to have a shadow color. So then you're going to go that, but you're going to do the smaller end of the knife so that you can get. Yeah. So you want the highlight color. So then we work on it. And I'll do this. Yeah. So your mountains, they kind of look like that. So they didn't turn out too bad. Yeah. So a lot of times when you're painting, yeah. So worked out okay. So the mountains came out okay. So not too bad. So we're good with the mountains, right? Because that's about. I may even just try to put a little bit more white on this one because I don't. That's kind of how it's supposed to look. You're supposed to barely touch the canvas and yeah. So there we go. All right. So that is our mountain. So now what I want to do now, and you can kind of visualize this, right? There's your mountains. Now we're going to make our trees. So for the most part, we know where our tree line is. So we're going to actually make our tree line. So I'm going to this is where I was going to try that new brush. So we got a little bit of, I'm going to mix a couple my little mixing things here. We got a little green. I'm gonna see if this will work. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try using one of these brushes here. So I'm gonna use a fan brush. So I'm gonna kind of go like this. So what I do is, since my trees are gonna be here, I'm gonna go here. So this is going to be the water. This is going to be the water line. This is where. So as you can see, this is where the line or tree. So everything else is going to reflect down. So now you can reflect the mountains in there, and we can do that. But when we put the trees in, you're not going to really see. You'll see like the tops of the mountains, but there'll be some smaller trees and bigger trees. But what we want to do is we want to kind of map out the darkness of where our trees are going to be. And how we do that is we're going to mix some colors, and this is where it gets kind of neat. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little black, a little green, and so we're going to go here. So now keep in mind, if you want to reflect this, you're going to have to go down here. Okay? Do you see how we're doing there? And you want to reflect it in there. You want to just be like, okay. Right. That's how you get your reflections. But keep in mind, these are going to be different colors. So they're all going to be like green. And so we can go like this. Because, like, I mean, we're going to define those, right? So you kind of want to keep it straight. So yeah, I just kind of went off the beaten path. But what you're going to do is you're going to put your background colors in there. Okay, so then you're going to go like this. And then you're going to go. Right? So you're going to do a little bit. So because you want a little bit of bushes. You want a variation. You don't want it to be like it's all. But you kind of want them to mirror, right? So the whole purpose of this is to show you need dark to show light, right? So that's kind of what Bob Alexander and Bob Ross, what they talk about. So now you gotta think, man, so do I want, so then you can go real up here and go. Right, because you'll see what happens once we. Okay, it's because you want it to be, you don't want it to be all there. Trees aren't straight up and down. Okay, so as you can see, what we're trying to do, we're just trying to, and it does. It takes a little bit, but I think we can do this. So I always like to do a little variation in, like, okay, since all of these, since we got like this, we're gonna go. So you want to make trees in the background. So now, so there he's like, okay, well, those are trees way in the back. Now, how do you reflect the mountains? Now, what if I don't want to do that? What if I want to make big trees? So I had trees going, I had some pine trees, and maybe I can make some pine trees. Let's do that. Pine trees are always fun. So let me clean my brush. Actually, I have a, I'm trying to get me a decent fan brush. Appreciate you guys being patient. Sometimes not that I forget you're there. I get so busy with, let's see, can we create something pretty cool? Because, you know, I want, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a way. How do I do? So there's this little thing called liquid clear, which is kind of like just gel. It's kind of like, it's like almost like Vaseline. It's kind of like, yeah. So, but it makes your paints go a little bit longer, go a long way. So we're gonna try our hand at maybe if I can do some, like, I don't know, can I do pine trees? Yeah, I guess I can. I guess I can do pine trees. Let's see, should we do pine trees? Let's go. Let's see, where can I do it? See, that's the thing. Sometimes it's like, okay, what do I do? You know, do I want to cover up all the mountains? And you can go like this. You can go. go. So it's kind of like, you can see it's a pine tree, right? So you're thinking, wow, because these mountains are way to the back. So they're not necessarily, you don't have to reflect those into water. Because the goal, and it seems like, not every, like I said, not every tree. So then you can just, so now what I can do is I can make another tree. So do you make it together? Sometimes you don't want to mess up that little cool mountain. So you could probably do one more. Okay. So now I need some more paint. Sometimes when so yeah, is it going to be pretty? But remember now, we're just putting background shadows. So we're going to start putting color on them, and it's going to look pretty tight. So sometimes you're not going to do an exact variation of it, but you are going to do somewhat. So we could do like some fall colors in there. Maybe I can make some other trees in there. But so I mean, we might be good with that. So let me try that though. Let me just see if I can make, let's see. Okay. Okay, so so we made a couple little trees here. So enough that. So we pretty much got what we want, and that's, you really don't want to go overboard. So now the key, and see Magic White, what Magic White does is it allows you to make highlight colors and use Magic White. So you could put Magic White on your, and so you can mix a little green, a little yellow, and then you could go like this. So you really want to make sure you get all the white off the Magic White. You want to do some yellow. So let's do that. Let's just see how this, let's go like this. As Bob says, you don't want to lose all of your darks. So you can see how that, So, right, because if it's reflecting that, then you're going to flex. So now do we need to do, so we got one there, green. Let's do, because you want it to reflect into water, right? It's because when we pull it down, you're going to want the reflection to pull down. So you're just going to go like this. Okay, we're going to do a water line, so I just don't want you to think that we're not. But that's the whole goal. So you got your color. So we're going to go ahead and rinse this off. That's why I love this. Now this new. All right, so now we're going to take a little orange. So. Yeah, sometimes it's like when you do it, you're kind of like, eh. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. When it dries, it looks pretty cool, though. So maybe you want to put a little, yeah, I don't want that big. No, I don't want it to be. All right, so there, got that. So let's see what color. Well, we can do burnt sienna. You know, kind of cool, huh? Burnt sienna. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty, but you know, you want variation. It's supposed to be like an autumn, fall / going to be winter. Now it's what do you want to do? Okay. All right. So what I'd like to do is get a little green. So what I'm trying to do is just mirror out the colors. And it's funny when you're looking at it, you're like, man, and you're looking at it like right on. So everything looks, oh man, that looks so bold. But trust me, once you're done, you're going to be pretty happy that you did that. So now this, okay, so. So you got a little pink in there, right? So that's what you want. What we're doing now, we're just doing a basic, quick. I know it's not as quick. I mean, it's probably 40 minutes, but when we get to the reflections, that's the part. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to clean the brush. we're gonna go ahead and get the pine. We're gonna get that. Okay. I mean, it's not going to always look pretty. You want it to, but it's not going to always look pretty. But you tried, right? All right, so with that being said, let's try what I want to do. Since we got the trees highlighted, I want to see what would happen if I try to, let's see, what can I do? I mean, that's kind of black grass. I would like it to be a little greener, but I don't know. I don't know how to do that, so let's just see. Okay, so now here's where the rubber meets the road. So now, do you got reflections? Yeah, you could probably leave it like that, but I want to see something. So keep in mind when you go like this, see when you go like that, it's supposed to. Okay. So, and when you do it, you got to start from here and go just straight down. Yep. Okay. Okay, now here's where the test comes. So there's your reflection. So if you look at it, that's the reflections. I mean, you can clean it up a little bit. You can, but that's kind of what we're thinking about. Is it always going to be perfect? I mean, you can touch it up because I always see areas where I can improve. So I can go like this. But you can tinker. So, yeah, I mean, but that's it. So that's kind of that's my vision. I mean, it's a quick down and dirty. I can put a water line in there, which is probably what I want to do, just to. Okay, so. And then you want to put a little bit of like. So that's pretty much it. So that is we can call it a finished painting. I mean, once you leave, I'll probably tinker it a little bit more. The water really should be going at, but you know, that's it. So that is our finished painting. And I don't know, if you put them together, you can see, well, some people think, well, I like that better, but do you see how it's different? You're never going to have really the same, like if you look at them together. Sorry. So this and this, it's a little different. But every painting will be different. It's never going to be the same. Once again, thank you for joining with me. I'm going to try to do one each week. So I appreciate you joining me today. I'm going to actually sign it, which I didn't before, so I will actually sign it. I'm going to sign it with... let's see. Okay, I'm going to sign it right here. There we go. All right. Thank you, and join me next time. Appreciate it. This is episode 2, Reflections. There you have it. Thanks. Bye.